Welcome to RevvNup. My name is Rev, and this is episode 1 of our podcast. And I decided to do a podcast on this because just a regular long form video, this is just too much to talk about today. We've got a lot of news happening in the motorcycle world because we're getting ready for spring. Motorcycle companies are getting ready for riders to be in the showrooms to buy new motorcycles. And Harley Davidson and Indian have had a lot of news in the past couple of weeks. And today, as of noon, I got some breaking news. So like I said, my name is Rev, and this is RevvNup. It rhymes with 7-Up, except it doesn't give you that gassy, bloated feeling. Or maybe it does. My wife says I make her gassy and bloated. Anyway, oh wait, no, she said that about me. Yeah, that's what it was. She said that about me. Anyway, so the big news coming out of Harley Davidson today is no more homecoming. You heard it right here. No more homecoming as of right now. Now, 2026, they have decided to cancel homecoming for 2026. Will that continue into future years? Some news outlets say yes. Some news outlets say no. I think that as of right now, homecoming is no longer a thing because they have partnered with the Milwaukee World Festival, who does a thing in Milwaukee called Summerfest. It's kind of a music festival there in Milwaukee. And Harley Davidson is using 2026 to kind of restructure and reframe, as Artie Starr, their new CEO, has said. They are trying to kind of rein things in. They're not going to make as many production motorcycles this year. They're going to focus more on aftermarket parts. They're just doing a whole restructure. They're trying to spend less money, and they're trying to rein in the spending so that they can kind of keep the wheels on the bus at this point, which is not a bad choice. I have to give kudos to Artie Starr and the board of directors for just kind of saying, okay, let's pump the brakes for a second and let's get this ship right before we try to, move on into deeper waters. So with that being said, there's a lot of things happening, but the biggest news is homecoming in 2026 is no more. So, I know that they are trying to save money. They're trying to, keep things going, while not touching the brand's loyalty, their fan base. Homecoming is one of those things that kind of has become in recent years a kind of a big deal. I mean, not as big as Sturgis, but I can't remember the numbers right off the top of my head, but yeah, there's I'm thinking that in 2026 the numbers were huge. I don't think they were Sturgis huge, but they were getting awfully close. So for them to end homecoming, that's a big deal. I'm looking at some Wisconsin news here. It says WTMJ is right headline. Oh, so they're doing a 4th of July Summerfest. And the July 9th through 12th, which was supposed to be the dates for homecoming, has been canceled. No more homecoming on July 9th through the 12th. So now they're just doing a 4th of July. And the headliners for that's going to be Jelly Roll, Tyler Hubbard, Sam Barber, Megadeth. The Bodines, Baha Men. Oh, it was Baha Men? I'm trying to remember Baha Men. That sounds awfully familiar. They're a 90s band? They might have been a 90s band. I don't remember. Straight No Chaser and Soul Asylum. So, some decent bands in there. Jelly Roll and Megadeth for sure. and Soul Asylum. I like Soul Asylum too. So basically, what has happened is Harley Davidson has relinquished Homecoming over to Summerfest, and Summerfest is now running with it. Now, Summerfest isn't just doing Summerfest anymore because they are pulling in Harley Davidson and Harley riders and hog owners. What they're doing is they're doing specific parking for Harley owners. They're trying to keep homecoming vibes, I guess you could say. So that's kind of a, that's they're not trying to just kill it, is what I'm trying to say. So with that being said, let's see. They're saying that Harley Davidson sponsored motorcycle parking lot, hog member perks, and on-site exhibit space, and an annual promotion theme day with details to come. So the Sarah Picheri, president and CEO of Milwaukee World Festival, Inc., says, "We are thrilled to welcome Harley Davidson as a Summerfest sponsor, continuing a Milwaukee tradition. This partnership is especially meaningful as it brings two iconic Milwaukee brands back together with a shared focus on serving the community and delivering unforgettable experiences to our fans." And then Artie Starr says, "We could not be more excited about to be joining Summerfest as a sponsor. Milwaukee is our home and always will be. We're looking forward to celebrating 250 years of America together with our riders, dealers, and fans right here in our hometown." Now, that brings up a great point. Canceling Homecoming in 2026, which is the 250th anniversary of America, and I always know this because I'm a bicentennial baby. So I turned 50 when America turns 250. I was born when America turned 200. So that's always how I remember how old America is. I add 200 to however old I am, and that's, what it is. But Homecoming this year was supposed to be kind of a bigger deal just because of the 250th celebration. But now they're doing it on 4th of July instead of July 9th. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. Honestly. So the funny thing is as of me recording this on February 24th at 4:16 p.m., I just found out about this at noon today is when all the news outlets started popping with this information. As of today, the Homecoming website was still active. It was still up. So don't know what to make about that. I don't know if they are going to link the two to where Summerfest tickets will be sold on that Homecoming website. I don't know. So I just thought it was interesting that the website was still active. So anyway, so that is number one in the news today. Second big news article of today. So last Friday, I believe it was last Friday, man. And I need to preface this story first. I am not political. I could care less about politics. Honestly, and just me saying that's going to piss some of you off. I understand that because you're very political, and that's you. You do you, boo. I don't care. I have friends and family on both sides of the aisle, and I just choose not to get there. However, I'm going to talk about this story, not from a political standpoint, but from a business standpoint. So, on Friday of last week, the Supreme Court came down and ruled that the Trump administration's tariff policy was in fact illegal. Now, I don't know legal, illegal. I'm not getting into that. All I know is that the Supreme Court came in and said, no more tariffs, can't do it. Trump came back and they've got something, more tariffs in the works, but they've reframed them, restructured them, and basically bought them 5 months more of tariffs. Now, I only say that because a lot of Harley parts are made overseas. They're shipped to Milwaukee where they're assembled and made in America. I get it. Harley is as American as apple pie. And I agree. It is. It just is. But the big thing that we have to remember, and it always shocks me at how this gets under so many people's skin whenever they're tearing into their Harley and they see something that says made in a different country, not made in America. Well, it's cheaper. Well, it was. Harley owners in 2026 are going to feel the price hit because of the tariffs. That's not a political statement. It's just a business fact. So in essence, the tariffs, if you're a Harley owner and other entities, we're just talking motorcycles here. So that's the example I'm going to give. In essence, it's a tax on the American people. And I don't know if you remember how our country started, but we don't have taxation without representation. Taxation is supposed to be a congressional decision, not an executive branch decision. So, all that is neither here nor there. All I know is, man, I would really, really like a 2026 Street Glide. Man, those new 2026 Street Glides are just sexy. If you haven't seen them, go look at them because they are sexy. And that new Heritage, the 250th American anniversary of the Heritage, man, that beast she is sexy too. I'm really stoked about the 2026 lineup, honestly. I have a 2023 Gypsy is my 2023 Street Glide. I own her. I bought her off the lot in 2023. And I love her. I won't get rid of her. I won't trade her in. I'll ride that bike till the day I die. Doesn't mean I won't get new bikes, because I will. But I haven't been excited about the 24s or 25s. I mean, I just didn't see enough changes or updates in them to warrant any real excitement. But these 2026s, man, I like the new headlight look. I love the new fairing look. Love the new colors. It just seems like they are. Now they took it, one step. Now they didn't go 10 steps. They didn't change anything that drastic, but they changed enough to make it sexy, and I want one. However, prices have gone up on Harleys quite a bit, just because of the tariffs. And I would assume partially because of the financial situation that Harley finds themselves in as well. So with all that being said, and again, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to get you to see that taxation on is causing some pain, So, I can hear the hate comments right now. Again, not political. Don't care. Try to keep the comments clean, guys. Be nice to one another, please. This is one of the biggest reasons why I don't get political, is because we just need to be nice to each other. I mean, we need to realize that we're Americans, and the politicians aren't for you. They're not. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. They're just not for you. And we need to be for each other so that the politicians don't win. That's my political stance, and that's my political statement. I don't care if you're right wing or left wing or center or green or blue or whatever. I don't care. Be nice to one another. Love your neighbor. Yeah. my favorite commandment in the Bible: love your neighbor, love God, love people. So why not throw some religion in there along with some politics? Really fire some of you up. So anyway, so I'm going to say all that. If you're thinking about a 2026 Harley or any motorcycle for that matter, so the prices have gone up in 2026. They're not going to make as many of them, which could be a cool thing if you buy a 2026 Harley Davidson. There's not going to be as many, which means future, it could be worth a little bit more because there's not as many being made. So just something to think about too. The other thing I wanted to bring up, let me pull this back up here. Indian, as of today, has unveiled 4 new motorcycles for their 125th anniversary collection. And I have to say, I'm not an Indian hater. I'm not. Actually, when I went and bought my Harley, I looked at Indian too. I really did. I just could not get past the fact that there's not as many Indian dealerships around as Harley dealerships. And with the road trips that I take, and with I live in Georgia and my family lives in Colorado and New Mexico, and I ride, I need more dealerships than what was available. I know that might be a stupid excuse for some of you, but it was a legit thing in my head. And I don't regret my decision. However, these 4 bikes that Indian has come out for their 125th anniversary, they're pretty cool looking. They are hand painted and they're going to be limited edition. So they're not making a whole lot of them, but they're not crazy expensive. Like they didn't jack the price up crazy expensive. I think it's like $5,000 more for this limited edition 125th anniversary. And so if you haven't got a chance, I'm going to put a picture up here for you guys just so that you can see that. But if you haven't had a chance to go look at them, I don't care if you're a Harley fan or an Indian fan, go look at them. They're, in my opinion, they're really cool looking. So I don't know. My wife's looking at buying a bike this year. So she's been looking hard at Indians. Like in her mind, she likes Indians better than Harleys, just the way they look. So who knows? I might end up with an Indian in my garage. It won't be mine. It'll be my wife's, but that's something to think about too. Now I'm going to bring this up because I heard Professional Monkey bring it up a couple of weeks ago about the 125th anniversary. And I totally understand what he was saying. I'll put a link to his video, which, by the way, hey, Pro Monkey, big fan. Would love to meet you one day. So anyway, and he had a great point, and I tend to agree with him that stop saying that Indian is 125 years old. Indian was created 125 years ago, but it is not 125 years old. I don't know enough about the history of Indian to go into it. So like I said, go to Professional Monkey's website. Link's going to be down in the comments. I'll link to that video because he did a better job than what I can. But I will say that I agree with him. Indian died, went bankrupt and died. And it sold its name here and there over the years and then came back and then died again. So every time I see them say it's 125th anniversary, I'm kind of mixed feelings. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not that old. But in a way they are, because Indian was created 125 years ago and they do exist today. They just haven't had a continuous 125 years like Harley Davidson. Now, Harley Davidson in 2028 will celebrate their 125th anniversary. So I don't know. That's Indian's big thing this year. It's our 125th anniversary, and every time I see it, there's something in me that just goes, eh. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, leave a comment. What do you think about them saying it's 125th anniversary of Indian motorcycles? Uh, you know, your opinion's not wrong. No matter what you say, it's not wrong. So what do you think that they can say they're celebrating 125 years? Yeah or nay? Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. So that is Indian news. There is one other piece of Indian news that I want to go over, and that was the closure, future closure as of June, I think, of a small plant that Polaris had, and 200 people were laid off. And gosh, I had it open, guys, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, after Carol Wood bought Indian, they said nothing's going to change. We're not going to do anything, and then they closed down this plant. Business decision, yeah, it was a smart business decision. I think that it was a great business move. However, the town that plant was in, laying off 200 people, that's 200 families that are scrambling. And that is a very small town that kind of relied on it. So, man, thoughts and prayers go out to those people who lost their jobs. They haven't lost them yet, but they did say, hey, we're shutting you down. And I believe they said they're shutting it down in June. So they're going to be pushing that to other existing plants. So, and to be fair, I don't know what, if anything, Indian offered these people. I don't know if they said, hey, if you want to move your family to this other plant, we'll give you a job over there. I don't know if they offered that. I don't know if they give them a severance. I don't know. But when I read that they shut the plant down, man, my heart immediately went out to those families. So if you're one of the families affected by the Polaris plant closing down, I want to say it was in Indiana. I'll Google it. It'll pop up. It was kind of big news a couple of weeks ago. So anyway, that's the news for that. So like I said, this is episode 1 of the podcast. I was not planning on releasing this until I saw that news about Harley Davidson shutting down Homecoming in 2026. Some say, a couple of news articles I read said that they've shut it down for good. They're not going to do it again. Other news articles I said for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to say for the foreseeable future, no more Homecoming, but we'll have to see. I honestly can't see them not doing a Homecoming for their 125th. So I think in 2028, there's going to be a Homecoming because it's their anniversary. So we'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, I'm going to have some new studio things coming up, some different lighting, some different paint, some different, things for the podcast, but I'm still going to do the long form videos and the how-to videos and how not to videos because, I'm a crap mechanic apparently. So, I do want to talk about my how not to change the oil on a Harley Davidson. Getting tons of comments on that thing. And thank you so much, man. I asked for people's opinions on how to get a stuck oil filter off. Man, I'm getting hundreds of comments and some great ideas. Some that I've never heard of and never would have thought of before. So episode 2, we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to go through some of those comments and some of those ideas. Because I've tried a couple now. So, and I'll make another long form video about that too. So anyway, until next time, keep the rubber side down and we'll see you then. Bye.